Hey guys, so today's dress pattern is by Violet Field Threads. I used it as a Halloween costume for my daughter. I do realize that it's very wide on her because it had the button backing. I should have taken it in a little bit more, but we ended up painting this dress and it ended up being perfect for a Halloween costume. So first of all, you prep the sleeves. Now the sleeves are pretty easy. Overall, I feel like this is one of the easiest dress patterns that I've ever made. And the only thing I would honestly change is the backing. I don't like buttons. But anyways, the sleeve, you fold over the bottom, quarter inch, straight stitch across. Then you're going to mark the top of your sleeve and add gathering stitches and gather the top. So it's kind of a gathered cap sleeve look. It's really cute. And once you have done your gathers at the top, and as you saw previously, I marked the center of my sleeve so I know exactly how to or where to add it to my bodice piece. You set that aside and you can work on the bodice now. Now the bodice is the main and the lining. You're just going to clip it and just stitch the top of the sleeve. I accidentally did the sides but undid it and only the top shoulder is stitched. Then you're going to put your main lining and your main and your lining and you're going to line them up. I go ahead and I clip them and I clip the places that I'm going to sew, which is the back area and around the neckline. So very easy, straight stitch. And then you can go ahead and clip your curves. And I used shearing scissors to cut my seam allowance because the fabric was really sheer and I didn't want that seam allowance to show so much. So once I did that, I went ahead and just pressed it down quickly so that it was nice and neat. And I could go ahead and move on to the next step, which is adding the sleeves to my bodice. So you take your sleeves, and like I said, I had previously already marked the center point, so I knew where the center was. And I just start at the end and work my way around, adjusting the gathers as I need to on my sleeves. And you do the same thing for the other side. And then you just go ahead and you straight stitch it, and that's it. That's how easy it is to add those sleeves, and that's what it should look like. Gathered cap sleeves. So now to finish off the bodice, you are going to stitch the sides. And I did slow the video down for this because it's a little bit of a method. You put two of your lining pieces and then your outside pieces, you kind of fold over the back and stitch. So once again here, put your right sides facing together. Then your inside two fabric pieces are going to get clipped together. And then your lining goes back and over and those two pieces go together. And you're just going to straight stitch all the way across and your bodice is finished. And once again, I cut my seam allowance so it wouldn't show and I pressed down my seam allowance just to kind of give it a neater look. And once the bodice is finished, like I said, this dress came with button closure and I really wish I had tried it on my daughter to tighten it maybe a little bit more, but I didn't and I followed the instructions. And even though it was still wearable, it was a little bit wider for her body frame. So that's the one thing I would change, or maybe add a zipper. I don't know. I would have loved to have had it a little bit tighter at the bodice. So the skirt. Now I cut out my own skirt pattern and did a circle skirt. I don't think the pattern comes with a circle skirt, but it's pretty easy to calculate that. You just do 2 half circles and you add them together in the side seams, gather the top, and you will just need to find a center point. Because it has buttons, you will need a placket. Now this is just a rectangle and I'm going ahead and mark 1 inch, fold over and iron down, fold over one more time and press down again with the iron. And the placket is standard usually with most button closures. It's not my favorite thing, but you get used to it. And then you just cut the bottom just to make that piece. Now I'm taking my skirt and I'm just cutting it almost to the length of my piece that I've made, and I go ahead and you can see how I'm attaching it. Can you tell that the fold is inwards? And then you just clip it through and then you just do a straight stitch and your placket is done. And you can just cut the ends at the top. And now it is just the assembly of the bodice to the skirt, and it's just right sides facing together, lining it up correctly with the placket. You stop at that end, but then the other side you go all the way to the end, and when you fold it over they should overlap, and so should the button fabric on top. And you just do a straight stitch all the way around, trying to align the edges as best you can so it lines up neatly. So you can see how it's added with the placket. You really want to just stitch around and serge, and then you are finally almost done and you're ready to add the buttons. I have my markings that I did previously. I like to add them beforehand just so I can not worry too much about the fabric folding in the back. I have this cool nifty tool to show me where I should place my buttons so they're evenly divided, and I go ahead and I mark where my buttons are going to go using this disappearing ink pen. Oh, these are my buttonholes, so I'm marking my buttonholes right now. And once that's done, I can go into my machine and add the button openings, and I just use my little unstitcher and cut through all of them, and then I will hand stitch all of the buttons to the back. Now this, like I said, is a really easy dress. I would have loved to have made it a little bit tighter, maybe done some adjustment, and the bodice does come straight or curved at the bottom, and I kind of liked straight more than curved, but I just wanted to see the difference, and that's it. It worked as a Halloween costume. It took me a few hours, and it honestly cost me maybe $2 to make because this is the cheap white muslin fabric. I hope you guys like this video. Thank you for watching, and I will try to post more videos in the following weeks. Thanks.